The American Football League has announced new changes to the rules for the upcoming season, and one of them stands out as a major improvement for the Cowboys. Let's break all of this down in today's discussion. First, we'll review the rule changes. Now, the league will allow for greater use of classic uniforms, permitting teams to wear them up to 4 times throughout the season, as opposed to the limited opportunities they had before. These uniforms, featuring the blue star and the retro white helmet, will be seen more frequently. I have a great admiration for these outfits, and if you also enjoy them, feel free to leave a comment. Moving quickly to other changes, both teams will now have the opportunity to receive the ball in overtime, just like in the playoffs, providing a fair chance to win and ideally preventing more ties, which don't reflect the true spirit of competition. Adjustments are also being made to the timing and allowed actions during the legal manipulation phase. This is a temporary change that will be tested during the next contract window in the coming year, so we'll keep an eye on how it unfolds. It shouldn't result in drastic changes, but it will make existing processes easier. Furthermore, there will be an expansion in penalty review assistance, as the current usage isn't as comprehensive as it could be. If a clear and incorrect call is made that results in a penalty, it can be reviewed and overturned, but it won't allow for the addition of a new penalty. The rules regarding kicks have been adjusted to give teams more time to prepare before games, which shouldn't cause significant interruptions. There will also be greater preparation in terms of scouting in the postseason, allowing teams to analyze and plan with more opportunities. With more time and opportunities available for preparation before games, extreme situations are not expected to arise. Teams will also be able to observe potential opponents in the final weeks of the regular season, should they be in the playoff hunt. The flexibility period for Thursday games has been reduced from 28 to 21 days, and it will be interesting to see if this change is utilized. Instead of going through the entire process of carrying players during roster cuts and then placing them on the inactive list, teams can now simply reserve 2 players on the inactive list at the time of the roster cut. This modification makes the process clearer and more manageable. There's no need to carry players through the entire procedure, as you'll have 2 who won't count toward the return eligibility limit. However, the most significant change relates to touchbacks, which, though only a 5-yard adjustment, has a big impact on the Cowboys. With the new return rules implemented last season, teams will now start from the 35-yard line instead of the 30-yard line, where a touchback would previously occur. While it's only a 5-yard difference, this is a relevant change for the Cowboys, especially considering their special teams setup. I'll explain why, but how do you view the performance of the Cowboys special teams overall? Rate it from A to F and share your thoughts in the pinned comments below. The opportunities presented here are important, so feel free to share your opinions. The Cowboys have talented athletes on special teams, including 2 standouts, a potential excellent kicker and a returns specialist recognized in the league. Last year, according to league data, the kickoff return rate was 32.8%, a 10 to 15% increase over the previous year's lowest rate. The goal of this change, according to the league, is to double that rate, aiming for a percentage between 60 and 70%. They're aiming for substantial growth in this area, which could result in more chances for one of the league's most explosive players. In 2022, Turpin had 21 kickoff returns, but that number dropped to 10 as teams opted for a different strategy. Regarding the percentage referred to, there's a demand for significant growth in this area, with expectations for much higher returns, reflecting a superior performance from one of the league's most impressive athletes in this aspect. Turpin had 21 kickoff returns in 2022, but that number dropped to 10 because teams chose not to kick to him. The year before, his numbers were much higher, with 27 returns and 904 yards, including a touchdown against one of the rivals, along with more returns on passes. Turpin's rate in this regard was comparable enough that I believe it's feasible to expect a significant increase, should he surpass 27 returns, going beyond 50. This implies more plays, more opportunities, and a greater return on investment, which isn't often associated with a player who has recently signed this season. So, how many return touchdowns will Cavani Turpin get this year? Share your thoughts in the comments section of today's episode. And if On the other hand, you decide not to kick to Cavani Turpin and opt for another approach. Let's try a long kick, considering that a touchback is equivalent to being 15 yards away from field goal. This means you're basically one reception away from being in position, which is quite positive. Aubrey performed very well last year as a kicker, excelling in most of his long kicks. He's currently hitting nearly 90% of kicks over 50 yards. When they're in range, they attempt the field goal, and if they're still within field goal territory, they'll also go for the conversion. Thus, the league teams face a tough dilemma. Kick to Cavani Turpin, who poses a risk with his dynamic style and potential for effective returns, or settle for a penalty, which might explain the low rating he received, or simply opt to kick out of the end zone, accepting that the Cowboys will need a 1st down and a half to get into field goal range. There's no perfect decision for the opposing teams, which benefits Dallas. Currently, there's no significant advantage for the opposing teams over Dallas. Additionally, league draft caps are available along with the team pin. You can check out the available options and the new clothing releases, including a hoodie that catches a lot of attention. Now, back to Brandon Aubrey. It's time to talk about his contract. He's on the verge of a new extension, which will likely come at a high cost, given that his agent is well regarded in the market. The Cowboys recognize that getting a discount on Brandon Aubrey's contract is unlikely. You can observe record salaries for kickers, which, at the moment, aren't exorbitant. The current leader earns under $6.5 million annually, with a considerable guarantee. This amount isn't a big issue, especially when backup offensive linemen are making similar figures. So, would you consider making Brandon Aubrey the highest-paid kicker? Leave your answer with a yes or no in the comments section. Moreover, with an expected increase in kick returns, it seems that the value of players essential to special teams will rise. If returns are doubling, that implies twice as many opportunities for these athletes to make an impact. Among the team's key returners in terms of tackles are players who don't have guaranteed spots on the roster. New additions could contribute significantly to special teams. It will be interesting to see how they manage the roster numbers moving forward. Confirmation of a spot on the team isn't guaranteed yet, but with the return of a key player, the team has also brought in 3 new players, one of whom may add value to the specialist schemes. A player who performed notably on special teams for another league team could be a significant addition in this context. Another player also had a reasonable amount of field participation, and the coaching staff needs to assess how to balance this issue concerning the desired lineup. It's crucial to have more athletes in linebacker, tight end, and safety positions, and the collaboration of receivers is vital. One player, in particular, spent much of last season sidelined with injuries, but had been standing out as a potential leader, having played about half of the games. If we consider doubling those numbers, the figure is already approaching the top. He also returned with a contract that seems favorable. It's worth mentioning that we're just over 500 subscribers away from hitting a notable milestone, so it's always worth keeping up with the team's updates. I believe that, more than in previous seasons, players chosen on the 3rd day of the draft deserve special attention, particularly regarding special teams. This is something I've been noting, tracking the number of plays in special team schemes, as a player selected on that day needs to contribute in this area. There are 1 or 2 spots in the 40 to 53 range, and in some cases, even between 35 and 53, where a player may make the team, but if they don't contribute on special teams, that could be an obstacle. Especially when injuries start to accumulate, it's essential to have athletes who can fill that role. One point the team may consider when thinking about selecting a receiver or running back is the pursuit of a good returner, as more return opportunities are coming. If a specific player gets injured, can the team rely on a combination of 2 other athletes? The other receivers don't seem to offer much value in returns, and the other running backs haven't shown great effectiveness in this regard. So, if they opt to select a running back, their contribution on returns would be a major asset. This won't be the final decision, but it's a factor that should be considered, especially as they move forward in this year's draft. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In an unexpected twist that has left NFL fans buzzing, the Dallas Cowboys are reportedly eyeing George Kittle, the star tight end of the San Francisco 49ers, as a potential addition to their roster. This comes as a shocking revelation given Kittle's pivotal role with the 49ers, where he's established himself as one of the league's premier tight ends. The news has already sent ripples through the NFL, sparking debates on whether this could be the missing piece that propels the Cowboys into Super Bowl contention. Kittle, a six-time Pro Bowler and two-time All-Pro, has proven to be one of the most dynamic players in the league. Known for his explosive plays and unmatched blocking ability, he has consistently been a key factor in the 49ers' offensive success. Just last season, he racked up 78 receptions for 1,106 yards and 8 touchdowns, earning his 6th Pro Bowl selection. His versatility on the field makes him a nightmare for defenders, capable of stretching the field as a receiver and dominating the line of scrimmage as a blocker. The timing of Dallas's interest in Kittle couldn't be more intriguing. With the Cowboys looking to bolster their offensive weapons, Kittle's addition could elevate their already potent attack. A key player in San Francisco's 42-10 demolition of the Cowboys earlier this season, Kittle's ability to take over games was on full display when he posted 6 receptions for 128 yards and a touchdown in their Week 8 matchup. The Cowboys could certainly benefit from Kittle's game-changing presence, especially with their offense needing a consistent playmaker in key moments. Dallas has long been seeking a tight end who can provide both a security blanket for quarterback Dak Prescott and a formidable weapon in the passing game. With Kittle's track record, which includes record-breaking milestones like becoming the fastest 49er to reach 400 career receptions, it's easy to see why the Cowboys would be so interested. Adding a player of his caliber would not only strengthen their offense, but also send a powerful message to the rest of the NFC. While nothing is set in stone, the prospect of George Kittle wearing a Cowboys uniform has fans and analysts alike dreaming of what could be. If the Cowboys manage to secure Kittle, it could set the stage for a new era in Dallas, one where they could finally break through to the NFL's biggest stage. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.